everybody. Welcome to Rachel's Reviews. We are really excited today. We have a special episode of the podcast. Typically, Conrado and I do a box office predictions for the summer, but the box office predictions are like whatever the drive-in movie theaters can make, so it's not too exciting. So we came up with another idea to do a bracket where we are going to officially determine the best summer box office blockbuster, whatever kind of movie. We're gonna figure it out. We're gonna decide the actual best movie, summer movie. So it's very exciting. And I'm film critic Rachel Wagner. I'm here, and Conrado is here.
Yes, he is, and we have a very special guest, my wife.
Yay! Yes, Sajda is here. And Thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Thank you for having me.
Yes. Well, since it's your first time, do you want to introduce yourself a little bit? Maybe some of your favorite movies, or kind of what you love as far as movies go?
Ooh, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Sure. As far as a movie connoisseur, I would say I love anything that's got a bit of action, a bit of drama, a little comedy. So I'm all over the place, really.
Yeah.
But I will say that maybe an idea of the things that I like is last year my favorite movie was Portrait of a Lady on Fire. So
oh yeah, that was the last movie that I saw in theaters before the because they just had it barely in Salt Lake. And so yeah, I actually, that was the last movie that I saw before the lockdown at the indie theater near me. I was like, because I'd gone to a screening of My Spy, which was fine. But I was like, that can't be the last one. I can't that can't be the last one. And so then I went and saw Portrait of a Lady on Fire. So I think that was a good choice.
Oh yeah, it's a good movie to go out on.
Yeah.
Do you remember? Rachel, which one is My Spy? That rings a bell.
My Spy. It's got Dave Bautista in it. And it's
the little girl.
Yeah.
I saw the preview for that. Yeah,
it's your thoroughly like kit kind of movie, where it's like throw in an action star and a little girl and it was fine, but it wasn't the last movie you see in theaters in whatever 6 months movie.
Yeah. The 2000s. The Rock did a couple of those, and The Pacifier.
Pacifier.
Yeah. Dave Bautista is not on that level yet. He doesn't have the charisma or the star power or the to pull off one of those kind of movies, in my opinion. So, but the little girl was actually really good. She's a good little child actress. So she was very good. But anyway, so yeah, I agree. That's a very good choice for your favorite last year. That's a good movie.
Thank you. Yeah. I love it.
Yeah. Do you have a movie that you and Conrado like really disagree on, that you really like and he hates?
Phantom Thread.
No, we don't. Well, okay, yeah, that is probably our most heated discussion was Phantom Thread.
Oh, Phantom Threads. Yeah.
He thought it was romantic, and I said, quite the opposite, sir.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. Well, good. Hopefully it's the first of many times that we get to have you on the show, because I've been following on Instagram for a little while, and so all right. Well, so we decided, instead of grouping these in a way that made sense, we decided to do it with a randomizer, and because we wanted it to be a little unpredictable, I guess, and so in each of us picked 8 movies that we thought were iconic summer movies. These had to be released in the summer, and that was really our only qualification. And so we have 16 total, and I'll go over all all 16, and then we'll go over our matchups. So we have in the tournament, we have Jurassic Park, Lion King, Jaws, Toy Story 3, Wonder Woman, Raiders of the Lost Ark, Point Break, The Avengers, the first one, Back to the Future, The Dark Knight, Mad Max Fury Road, Mission Impossible, Rogue Nation, Spider-Man, Pirates of the Caribbean, the first one, Star Wars, the first one, and Die Hard, the first one. So, yeah, I think a pretty good list.
Yeah, I agree. I think we did a really good job, but already I feel like we have to qualify some of the movies that were left out. I think specifically 2 movies. Last night I was thinking, oh, I think we're going to get messages about these 2 movies. And I don't know if you, how you went about it, Rachel, but I feel like I have good excuses for not putting these 2 movies.
Ooh.
One of them, I think, is the 1989 Tim Burton Batman, which is such a historically important movie for like summer season. Like that was really, I mean, we had some movies before, but that I feel like took this summer to another level in terms of hype and box office. And I think I kind of wanted to keep 1 movie per franchise or character. So we have The Dark Knight. So I think it's fine if we don't have Batman.
Yeah.
And the other one I think is E.T., which really was a huge success and really dominated the summer of 1982. But we have 3 other Spielbergs, and so I think it's okay. I also feel like we're trying to go for, like you said, like kind of that blockbuster summer feeling, and I feel like E.T. is more of like a, I don't know, sentimental kids movie. I don't know if you'll agree with me on that.
Well, the big one that I thought of that we probably should have included is probably Independence Day. That's such an iconic summer movie, and it's such an iconic blockbuster. And it probably has more right to be in there than Point Break, but I like Point Break. I like Point Break so much better.
We have to be honest, Independence Day is not very good.
I think that it has good moments. I don't hate it, but I think it doesn't hold up super well, in my opinion.
Yeah. We're trying to quality and quantity, right?
Yeah.
So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. So, Sajda, you hadn't seen all of these, correct?
There's a few on that list that, I only know via the big moments. But
Okay.
More than 30.
Yeah.
There's probably 3 that I haven't seen or something like that.
So we figured we needed a third person on this in order to break the tie, because we would probably disagree quite a bit. So we need it. So that's sort of more, I think, your role here as sort of our tiebreaker in these battles. Would you have picked Independence Day?
No, absolutely not.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm totally on board with you for that.
I mean, it has Will Smith is great, and the big speech is great. That's what I say. But it has a lot of people staring at screens, which is my nemesis when it comes to those kind of movies. I think they get really boring really quick. And although the sequel was lots worse, so I guess that made it look pretty good. But all right, let's dive in.
All right.
Whoop, whoop.
Again, this is randomizer, so their pairings are kind of strange. Our first pairing is a tough one. Very tough. Jurassic Park versus Lion King. So, Conrado, what are your thoughts?
Well, first of all, I'm shocked, Rachel, that you put last year's Lion King remake in part of the because I thought you didn't like it.
Zero stars. No. Yeah, that makes.
We're talking obviously about the original from 1994, animated. Incredible movie, one of my favorites as a kid, definitely my favorite. And yet, I have to say, in my opinion, it has to be Jurassic Park. I just feel like if we're going with that summer blockbuster feeling, the thrills of Jurassic Park have no comparison. I don't know what you guys are gonna say.
Sajda, what about you?
I don't know. I've obviously watched Lion King the most because, yes, as a child, we just press rewind on the VHS and watch it over and over again. But oddly enough, I don't know how this happened, but I think I might agree with Conrado. And I definitely haven't seen Jurassic Park as often, but right now, if I was going to put in either of those movies, I would put in Jurassic Park before I put in The Lion King. Mm-hmm. So I think that's maybe my criteria.
Okay, interesting.
This is really hard because, I love animation and I'm always, tempted to go the animation route, sport animation. But Jurassic Park is one of my all-time favorite films. It's in my top 10 favorite movies of all time. I absolutely just love it. It's really the movie that first it was the first movie with real awe and spectacle that really wowed me. I saw it. It's the movie I've seen the most in the theater of any other film, including the most recent time I saw it at the drive-in, which was amazing. I've seen it 8 times in the theater, which is my record. And it has it all. It's got incredible characters, and that's something that all the sequels have failed miserably at. Is they just do the dinosaurs. They forget about the great writing, great characters of the original film, and it has all of those dinosaur moments, the spectacle. It's really scary at points. It's funny at points, particularly Jeff Goldblum, hilarious. It has something to say. It has a heart to it. It has a message to it. It's so good. If I was going to say what do I think is a perfect blockbuster, I think Jurassic Park is a perfect blockbuster. I think the music is so good. Just it's it. What?
Love it. I'm loving all of this. Jurassic Park trounces the Lion King, becomes an early front runner for this tournament.
Yeah.
Wait, we have a controversial question for you.
Yeah.
What do you make of the amount of time Jurassic Park spends with people looking at screens?
they don't spend that's true, they do spend quite a bit of time looking at screens, but it's broken up at least, and they're doing something. They're not just staring at screens. The
exception that proves the rule.
Yes, yeah, you're right. It's not too bad though, but yeah, it's certainly more than The Lion King. It's staring at screens.
All the lions be doing.
I know. But I do love The Lion King, and I to me, one of the best moments ever in Disney is when he says, "You promised you'd always be there," and that whole scene, I think, is so emotionally true and moving, and the animation is so beautiful. And I kind of love the fact that it was basically like the Bad News Bears of Disney. They had put all the talented people out over on Pocahontas. They gotten the Alan Menken, they got the the big names all over there, and they put everybody else in Florida and stuff on this other project. And the fact that it ended up being one of the greatest animated films ever made is and most successful is kind of fun. And but I gotta go with Jurassic Park. It just meant so much to me, and I love it so much. It's going to be a tough one to beat.
As a summer blockbuster representative, it feels more appropriate, even though we love, like you said, we also love The Lion King. It's one of the best.
Yeah. Well, okay, so for our next, it's another weird combination, but some would say, when Jurassic Park came out, some said, oh, well, Spielberg's doing the same things that he did in Jaws, but not as well. That was a criticism I saw. But that's what Roger Ebert in particular said. But Jaws is just phenomenal, and we have it up against a much heralded animated film, Toy Story 3. And so what are your thoughts on these two films, Conrado?
This is an interesting one. I think this is easy for me. I think I'm gonna go with Jaws because I love Jaws. And also Toy Story 3, it's a really good movie, but I feel like I like Toy Story 1 and 2 better. Toy Story doesn't seem to me necessarily a summer franchise. The first two movies came out in the fall. Toy Story 3 obviously dominated the summer when it came out, but I don't know, Jaws just seems like summer movie. It's like, that's it, you know what I mean?
Yeah. For me, this one is actually kind of easy. I really love Toy Story 3. I love all four Toy Story movies. I love them all. But I do think that this one for me, I think the incineration scene is a little over the top for me. I feel like even for Pixar, that scene is pushing it for as far as emotional manipulation. And I think that that's my only real like flaw with the film. But I really do enjoy it. I mean, the ending is the actual ending is really, really good, and Lotso is great, and and Ken and Barbie are hilarious, and I love Spanish Buzz. That's hilarious, and it's beautifully animated. It's a really good movie, but Jaws is another close to perfect film. It's so well done, and it's so tense, and but you hardly see the shark at all, which works in its favor to create tension. And it's so well acted, it's so well written, it's so well done. It was like the first big blockbuster for summer blockbusters. So I got to go with Jaws over Toy Story 3. Both the animation is out. It's so sad. Of the tournament.
I guess so. Is there an animated movie out there that you think could have put up a fight against Jaws from the summer? I don't think so. I think we did a really good job. Lion King and Toy Story 3 seem to be the biggest summer animation.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what else. I'd have to look and see what else was released in the summer. Seems like most of the big iconic animated films were released in the fall.
Well, I mean, obviously we had to put Shrek aside because he's such a juggernaut that he would have run away with the whole competition, right? So he's in a league of his own.
Do you agree with Sajda that with Jaws versus Toy Story 3?
I do. I think that even to be honest, Jaws doesn't have as special a place like in my heart that I think it has for a lot of people. But it is it is a summer movie. You know what I mean? Like everything about it feels summer blockbustery in a way that I think, oh Woody, oh Buzz, you know, like we love you, but we can't possibly.
Yeah. Very good. Okay, well, the next one is going to be a battle of my head versus my heart. We have Wonder Woman versus Raiders of the Lost Ark. And
interesting. We just saw Raiders of the Lost Ark last night.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I love it. It's so entertaining. It's so well done. And but Wonder Woman, I don't think it's as good a movie, but it again has my heart. Whenever I watch it, it makes me cry because I just think that the whole journey of Diana in coming to realize that the weakness of man and how we've done this to each other, and how she thought for sure that this was the fault of Ares, and then when she realizes that no, this is what humans did to each other by their own choices. It's so devastating to me, and I just think it's done so well, and I love her so much. I love her character, and so I don't know. I love the movie. It's one of my favorites of the last 10 years. I just absolutely love this film. I know it has its flaws, but to me, the strengths far outweigh any of the flaws. And but so it's really hard for me to pick because to me it has way more heart than Raiders of the Lost Ark. I'm way more emotionally moved by it, but I admit it's not as good a film. So I don't know. It's tough. What do you say, Conrado?
But I want to throw it to Sajda. I think she has something to say.
Do I?
Don't you?
I mean, I didn't. Yeah, I didn't think that would actually be a hard one for me to choose between, as I have, I saw it Raiders of the Lost Ark last night. The fear tarantulas in the beginning, I
Yeah.
I screamed. I screamed so loud, and I had to cover my eyes because it was so tormenting.
I forgot about that. Yeah, that was gross.
I did not know that was going to affect me in such a way. So I feel kind of tormented by this movie. But I think I actually agree with you, Rachel. I think that the feeling that I had when I walked out of watching Wonder Woman, thank you, is like, I was so excited. I was so happy. I loved it so much. And it felt, I had like that moment of like, oh, finally, And I agree. I don't think that it was perfect in everything that it did, but I just had such a blast watching it. And so I think that I gotta give it to Wonder Woman.
All right. I think, I know there's a lot of people out there who think Raiders of the Lost Ark is not only one of the best summer movies, but one of the best movies ever. And they love it so much and the perfect movie and all that. I gotta say, I love Spielberg, but it's not one of my favorites. I think I enjoy it, but I think he's done much more interesting and much more exciting movies. Two of them we have already talked about in this podcast. So I'm okay with you guys. Let's go with Wonder Woman. Why not?
Yes. All right. Yeah. I think the stunts are so great in Raiders. Like, they're gritty and they're you can tell that guy's really behind the truck and so that elevates it a lot. And just like, it's so fun. Indy battling against Nazis, super fun. But yeah, there's just that heart to Wonder Woman that I love. So I'm glad you guys made that easier for me. I felt like, and it was like I said, my heart battling my brain because I that one. So yay! That's good. Wonder Woman makes it through. All right. Next, we have another one. Actually, that's pretty tough for me. We have Point Break versus the Avengers. Now, I'm a big fan of the MCU. I'm a big fan of the Marvel movies. I think they're super fun. I love all the heroes and just this whole thing of everybody gathering together to fight and in this battle in New York. So fun. And I love Loki. And so for him to be the main villain in this one is great. And I think that Josh Whedon definitely elevated the material with his witty banter, and I could just have our heroes hanging around eating shawarma and exchanging wisecracks. I could watch that all day. I love that. And so I really love the Avengers. It's one of my favorite comic book movies, and it's still my favorite Marvel movie of the MCU. And so Point Break, though, it's totally different. It's smaller, it's grittier. You've got huge charisma in Keanu Reeves and Patrick Swayze. You've got, as far as the summer movie, all of the surfing, super summer. It's kind of ridiculous and silly, but great. And so they're so different. It's really hard for me to pick. But what about you, Conrado?
I think this one's hard for unexpected reasons. I didn't expect it to be. I'm just gonna go ahead and say I think Point Break is the better movie. I love Point Break much more. I think that scene, the skydiving scene in Point Break, is one of the most incredible stunts ever. And yet, the Avengers is a lot of fun, and like from a blockbuster perspective, it feels more appropriate for this tournament to me. So I'm having a kind of like the head versus heart thing that you were experiencing before. So I don't know.
It's tough.
It is one of the few movies from the MCU that I actually like, which is, it's not nothing.
Yeah. So did you have a opinion on these two?
I do, and I think this wasn't hard for me at all. I think Point Break just like sweeps for me. Like, like you're giving me Keanu, like you like the most. I don't even understand like how you do that performance. You know what I mean? And like as an actress, I think sometimes I just always think about that when I'm like, I don't even know how I would attempt to recreate that. Mm-hmm. And it's just so beautiful to me. I think and just like the ideas and the themes under Point Break, I think speak to like the things that I'm interested in film in general more than
It's really good. It's really good.
Yeah, I think you're convincing me. I think I'm gonna go with Point Break.
Okay, and that makes my decision. I'll go with the Avengers then. Just but it's a tough one. It really is because I love both those movies. Mm-hmm. And Point Break has incredible sound design too. You feel so like you are in that wave, you're in that whatever the moment is. It's so immersive, I think.
Yeah, you're on that beach, you're having that little bonfire.
Yeah.
It's so good.
and Patrick Swayze is so good in that too, I think. He's just
great.
Yeah. Very good. Okay. All right. Next we have Back to the Future versus Dark Knight. So this one is easy for me. Back to the Future is one of my all-time faves. I think it's such a likable movie. It's such a good story as far as him coming to sort of terms with his own parents and realizing that they're like humans and that they had flaws too. And I think that's something that any of us can relate to and relate with. And it's just so charming. And Doc Brown and the DeLorean and just all of that. Dark Knight, super well made. I think Heath Ledger's great when he's not on screen. It's not as good. I don't really like the way that they have that they handle Harvey Dent's character. I think that could be better, and I think his transformation could be done better. But it's beautifully made. It's really good. I just don't love it like most people do. For me, it's just no question Back to the Future. This one's easy for me.
Yeah. So when The Dark Knight came out, I was 15 or 16 years old, and I absolutely loved it. I saw it multiple times in the theater. I thought it was the best movie of all time, basically. Mm-hmm. And I still think it's pretty good. I agree with you that Heath Ledger is amazing, and he remains a great performance. And I also agree with you that the other parts of the movie haven't held up as well as him. I haven't seen Back to the Future in a long time, actually, but it's a lot of fun. My love for Dark Knight isn't particularly strong anymore, so I'm kind of feeling a little ambivalent about this matchup. So I'm okay to go with whatever you guys decide.
Okay. Ooh, you get to be a tiebreaker.
Well, I don't know, because I actually, spoiler alert, I have not seen Back to the Future, so that's the one that I know. No, please, filmies, don't come for me. But right. But I will say that I think I agree in that so much of what I love about Dark Knight when I first saw it doesn't ring as like true anymore when I've watched it later. And I think for me, what is special about that movie is Heath Ledger, right? And the rest of it I can kind of lose. So in that case, like, you know what I mean? I don't know if I can stand up for it, you know?
All right, Conrado, you got to decide then.
Yeah. You said you would go with Back to the Future, right, Rachel?
Yes.
Yeah. All right, let's go with that. Back to the Future it is.
Yes. I actually just saw it at the drive-thru. It was so fun. The drive-in.
Yeah. We should watch it since you haven't seen it.
It's so good. You really should. At least I think it's just so likable and charming and entertaining. All right. Next we have
the idea that like I would watch right now. I would rather try and watch Back to the Future than
then watch Dark Knight again. Okay, great.
Yeah. All right. Next we have Mad Max Fury Road versus Mission Impossible Rogue Nation. And this is an interesting one. I feel about the same. Obviously, I really enjoyed both these films, but and neither of them are, I think, super like plot great. But that doesn't matter to me. Both of them are fun rides, but I think I prefer Mad Max Fury Road. It's just more sort of visually interesting, kinetic, crazy atmosphere, something unique, different, and I think I still probably prefer Ghost Protocol if I had to pick of the Mission Impossible films. Is probably my favorite. But they're all really entertaining films. But I'm gonna go with Mad Max Fury Road. It's just so different.
Yeah, I think you get at something very accurate. I think I love the Mission Impossible movies, especially the later ones. And they seem like a great summer franchise to me. It's one of the few that I'm always excited for, and I haven't gotten tired of them yet. But I agree with you that Ghost Protocol is the best one, and it's the only one that didn't come out in the summer. So I don't know. And then on the other hand, at the same time, you have Mad Max Fury Road, one of the most unique, movies of all time, an incredible blend of like artistic vision and like total entertainment and incredible stunts, incredible characters. Charlize Theron is fierce and whatnot. Um, so yeah, for me, it's Fury Road.
Yeah.
I'm driving to Valhalla, baby. What do you think, Tasha? You love Fury Road.
Oh, this wasn't a competition for me. Fury Road. I talked about it, I think, for months after I saw it. It like just rocked my brain. I loved it.
All right. Next is an interesting one. It's Spider-Man versus the first original Pirates of the Caribbean film. What do you think, Conrado?
This is the toughest one for me because I picked those two to be in the bracket, and they're two of my favorite movies. They came out just at the time when I was getting into film. I have been writing a lot about this actually in my blog, and I'm gonna post an article on alternateending.com that's posting I think next week about the years between 1999 and 2007 as the best time for Hollywood blockbusters, because I think a lot of the franchises that were coming out back then had a lot of creativity that has been kind of lost a little bit since then. And these are two of them. I think they're both great summer entertainments, and they also have a lot of personality from their directors. I think Sam Raimi, you can totally see his love for melodrama and pulp and horror in Spider-Man, and then you can see Gore Verbinski goes into his crazy also love of horror and crazy stuff and comedy in Pirates of the Caribbean, and Johnny Depp's performance, as much as he might have become a crazy tired person nowadays, back then it was totally like revolutionary for me. I think it's the first
he nominated for an Oscar.
Yeah, very
for that role.
likely. And for me, I was like, I don't know, 11 or something, and that was the performance that I was like, oh my god, like acting exists, you know what I mean? Like I realized that was a thing, and it's such a weird performance when you think about it. So I don't know. I think they're both perfect movies. I don't know how to pick. What do you guys think?
I mean, if it was Spider-Man 2, this would be easy for me. I think Spider-Man 2 is better than the first Spider-Man. But this makes it a little bit harder. I feel pretty close on both these movies. I don't know. What do you think, Sajda?
This is so rude. I'm like devastated by this pairing. I just think that I think just like Conrado, they just hit me. Both of these movies hit me at like the perfect time to be watching movies, and both of them, I was like, oh my god, I love movies. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I feel like there's something really exciting and fun for me about how Spider-Man, I think, made me like think about just my existence at the time, and like the idea of the people I was hanging out with and the people I was like falling in love with and having crushes with, and you know, the type of like teeny angsty drama that was in it, like really still kind of rings true in some weird way. And I'm like, yeah, fuck, all of this sucks. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I feel like, and I think it's maybe the movie that's that sat with me longer. So I might have to go Spider-Man.
All right, Spider-Man. And I do really like William Dafoe in Spider-Man.
I love Dafoe.
It's really fun. The Green Goblin aesthetics and stuff don't hold up super well. They're pretty bad now, but his performance is a lot of fun as the villain. For sure.
Do you have a choice, Rachel?
I think I would go with Pirates. I just think it's such a fun adventure. And his, even though we got kind of tired of Jack Sparrow, and I don't really like any of the sequels, I think they have their place. They're interesting, but I still, this first one I just think is a really fun adventure, and with a lot of charisma, personality, sword fights that are well done, exciting, and so yeah. I mean, I just feel like there are at least 2 Spider-Man movies I like better than the original Spider-Man. So that's whereas there's not really any Pirates movies that have come out.
Wait, Rachel.
This is hard. So you're making me be the tiebreaker.
Yeah.
Huh? It's now you're making it tough what you're saying about better movies, because I was gonna say that the Spider-Man trilogy as a trilogy is for me better than Pirates, right?
Oh,
because
no question.
Spider-Man 1 and 2 are great movies, both in my opinion, and the third one is interesting, and I like it actually quite a bit despite its flaws. Whereas the Pirates movie, I mean, the second one has incredible action, but then they definitely, by the third one, and the plot gets like too complicated.
Yeah, it gets really convoluted.
But you're right that the first Pirates is like a perfect movie. I don't know. It's so hard.
Yeah.
This one's tough.
I mean, I think the thing that's so good about Rachel's argument is the idea that I agree that the second Spider-Man is definitely better.
You're right, Spider-Man. Okay, I'm gonna go with you. Okay, let's do it. Pirates goes through.
All right, Pirates. Okay.
I just argue against myself. Good job.
All right. Last one. So this is interesting. We have Star Wars New Hope versus Die Hard, the original. And people always argue that Die Hard is a Christmas movie, or that's always in the debate. But it actually was released in the summer, so now we're arguing it as a summer movie. And Die Hard is really well done. It's such a tight movie as far as the script, and you're not wasting any time with people staring at screens, so that's good. You have a great villain, Hans Gruber, Alan Rickman. He has motivation. His what he's doing makes sense. Why he's doing it. He's really chilling, but he's also funny. He's a great, one of the all-time great villains. Bruce Willis is really good because he's just he's not like trying to be a hero at all. He just happens to be there, and he has those skills, kind of a thing. And that movie has been aped so many times by so many other movies, but it's really good, I think. And but then Star Wars, I mean, gosh, it's just so hard to compare because it's such a thing, Star Wars. And I mean, Darth Vader, speaking of great villains, amazing. And I love the original Star Wars. I mean, I know that Empire is technically a better movie, but I love the fun of the first Star Wars. I think the first Star Wars is more fun when you get that, just when he blows up the Death Star and you're, yay, woohoo! And probably the best experience I've ever had in a theater was watching A New Hope when it was released in during the special editions run. in like 97 or whatever, and it was the first time that I ever have been to a theater where people were dressed up and cheering, and the whole audience, and it was one of my favorite memories. And I mean, Carrie Fisher, amazing. It's definitely got its super cheesy moments. The trash incinerator trash scene is ridiculous and too long. There's but I don't know, I love Han Solo, I love Luke Skywalker, I love the music. I have to go with Star Wars. It's just I didn't see Die Hard until a couple of years ago, but I definitely think there's a case to be made, but I just have too much nostalgia for Star Wars. I have to go. The world building, the excitement. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I think I agree with you. Die Hard is a really good movie. And yet, I mean, I've never been totally into it, partially because gunfights aren't really my favorite. Like in action movies, I prefer like either martial arts or like car chases, things like that. So, so I was never super into Die Hard as a young one. Even though I recognize it's a great movie. I also think there's something weird about an R-rated movie in this as the pinnacle of summer blockbuster.
Yeah.
I feel like it has to be something that's kind of for the whole family. And Die Hard is like a little too violent, a little too grown up to make it all the way through. And Star Wars is Star Wars, so I think I'll agree with you, Rachel, and go with that.
Okay. Plus, you can't have all those arguments about it being a Christmas movie and it win summer movie tournament. That's what I figure.
Yeah, that's also you're right. That's also valid.
All right. Okay, now we're moving on to the next round. Is that one that you hadn't? Was there just what was the ones you hadn't seen, Sajda?
Die Hard.
You hadn't seen it.
And Back to the Future. So it was only two.
Okay, so all right, here we go. So next round we have Spielberg fight of Jurassic Park versus Jaws.
Oh,
and it's tough.
Yeah.
But I gotta go with Jurassic Park, and I admit it's partly for nostalgia. It's just a super iconic movie in my life, and I love it so much. There's just the spectacle of seeing those dinosaurs is just, I'll never forget it, and I still think it holds up and it looks better than the spectacle of any of the sequels. I mean, the Jaws sequels are terrible, but so we don't discuss those. But I love a good shark. I love a good shark movie, and that all started because of I even love a bad shark movie. I really enjoy shark movies. I love Jaws. It's so good. But I gotta go Jurassic Park for me.
Yeah. What? I mean, I don't know. What do you say something while I think?
Sure. I agree with Rachel. I think Jurassic Park just like it's so exciting, and you've got Jeff Goldblum. Come on, like you can't. I'm sorry, I don't. There's it's almost true. Never a time I'm gonna vote against the Boomeister.
All right, I'm not gonna say that Jaws walked so Jurassic Park could run.
No, there's no doubt about that.
But I also think, but in a way. Yeah, that's right. But I think, I mean, Jaws is a great movie. In many ways, I think Jaws is a better movie than Jurassic Park, and yet I think Jurassic Park is a better summer movie entertainment. It does feel like Jaws just like taking it up in every notch so that it is like more spectacle, more chases, more tension, more visual effects.
More Goldblum.
So yeah, I mean, I love Jurassic Park, so I'm okay with this decision as much as with the recognition that Jaws has its spot in the pantheon of the great summer movies.
Yes, for sure. There's no doubt. All right, so next we have Wonder Woman versus Point Break, and I have the same dilemma, but Point Break has a lot of heart to it as well. I mean, I guess if we were going to make the rated R thing, though, the distinction, it is R in the bracket, but I don't know. These are both movies I love. What do you think, Conrado?
this is strange. This feels like a strange matchup.
I know.
You guys sold me on Point Break, and now I'm on the train, baby. I am going all the way through. It's kind of like the underdog of this fight for me.
Yeah.
It's a movie that did well, I think, at the box office, but it wasn't a huge hit at the time, and has grown and grown, and has a lot of fans. And like, it feels like an absolute like if you wanted to program a summer viewing, like at a drive-through or at like some sort of
Yeah.
summer get together, Point Break is perfect. Like it's at the beach, it's got, like you say, the surfing, you got Swayze and Keanu homoerotically falling in love, you got the skydiving. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna go with Point Break.
I think that's the key that puts me over, even though anyone knows my love of Wonder Woman. I think I am going to also go with Point Break, just because it is definitely way more of a summer movie, and it's just so well done. The characters are so well done. They're characters you can kind of think about for a long time and try to figure out, are they a good guy or a bad guy? And you're not sure, and that's good. And whereas obviously Wonder Woman doesn't have that kind of nuance, but I still, I love Wonder Woman so much. But just as far as summer movie tournament, I think I'm going to go with Point Break. You surprise everybody.
Okay.
Yes. We have Back to the Future versus Mad Max Fury Road. Again, this is easy for me. As much as I admire Mad Max Fury Road and its bonkersness, Back to the Future is just, I think, one of the most crowd-pleasing, entertaining, thoughtful. It's just one of my favorite movies. It's in my top 10 of all-time favorite movies. I love it. So for me, it's Back to the Future. In this one.
Maybe that's one we should have rewatched in preparation.
All right.
Because I feel more strongly towards Fury Road. I think there's something about the level of action and thrills that I think is kind of essential for me in the summer movie tournament. From what I remember, Back to the Future is a great comedy, and it's a very, like you said, it's a huge crowd pleaser. But I don't know, maybe I'm just like a sort of action junkie, but I need that like adrenaline sort of thing.
Yeah. Shoot, this won't work having you be the tiebreaker since you haven't seen it.
I'm so sorry.
Oh, no.
I failed you.
Our plan.
I think you both have 30 seconds to win the other one over.
Okay. All right. So Back to the Future, you have the incredibly charismatic performance of Michael J. Fox. You have him coming to terms with his own parents. And it's basically a coming of age story set in a sort of a sci-fi environment, but you've got all the charm of the 1950s coming to terms with the charm of the 1980s. And it's super, super crowd pleasing. It's funny. It's you've got Biff Tannen as your ultimate sort of villain that you get to see George McFly punch the and then it was just super fun. And it's got great music.
All right. Is my timer going up?
Yeah.
Okay. So Mad Max Fury Road, there's no doubt in my mind, Mad Max Fury Road is one of the most unique experiences you will ever have watching a movie. It's probably the best action movie of the decade, if not one of the best of all time. It is incredible stunts, car chases, and it has a wonderful socio-political message in the character of Furiosa, Charlize Theron, feminism.
Time.
Is that it?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, right. So this might surprise all of you, but I was actually leading up to actually conceding to Rachel.
Oh, wow.
Just on the realization that I think Mad Max Fury Road is just a little bit too good. Like, it's too artistic. It's like, it feels like it's for it to be the ultimate summer crowd pleaser. I think it's like almost avant-garde, and I feel like that while it's something that I love, I will understand why maybe Back to the Future should go through. What do you say, Rachel?
But let's hear it. Just on our little arguments. I'm curious to see who you think made the better case.
Oh, okay. Well, I do think that, I mean, I think obviously I've only seen one movie, but I do think Conrado convinced me actually that I love Mad Max Fury Road even more. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, obviously I'm biased because I've only seen that one. Mm-hmm. But I kind of disagree with you on the fact that it's like that is the thing that's so exciting to me, is that it's like kind of insane and like so out of this world crazy to me, but yet I like felt so much joy and excitement when I walked out of it. And I like, you know, the whole summer, like all I was doing was just thinking about it and like wanting to be Zoe Kravitz for like, you know what I mean? Like, so I think I don't know, I think you convinced me that I love it even more.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the thing I think about Fury Road is I actually think it's a war movie in disguise. Like, because when we watch a war movie, we're not like looking for this great plot. We're looking for the battle, who won the battle, what the key figures are. That's basically what we get in Fury Road. You have these crazy battle scenes between these different on these cars, and I think that there is enough heart, there's enough intensity, and it is very, very unique. And it's I think it's also very well paced for, if you're going to have that kind of story, you need to keep it short, keep the movie short. And I think he does. So you don't get bored. And so, I mean, I love Fury Road. I just think the Back to the Future is one of the greats of all time. It's one of my all-time favorite films. So I don't know stuff. What's that?
What is going through?
So did you officially change your mind?
You're talking to me, right?
Yes.
I don't know.
I think you should let it through only purely because your third party person is an asshole.
Okay, sure. Yeah, let's go with Back to the Future. Fair enough.
Right. Here we go.
This is Rachel's podcast, after all.
Made the right choice. Okay, now we have Pirates of the Caribbean versus Star Wars New Hope. And so Pirates of the Caribbean, really entertaining, iconic performance. But I would say I don't even really remember the villain hardly at all. It's like that evil
Barbossa
captain. No, he's not. Barbossa isn't. Or I guess Barbossa's there. Yeah, that's right. I was thinking he was more in the next one. But I don't know. The villain's less memorable than Darth Vader. So just on that, I think I got to go with Star Wars. I mean, it's the best. It's so fun.
Yeah, I love Pirates. I love the first Pirates so much, but I don't think there's arguing against Star Wars at this point in this matchup.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, come on. All right. Now we are at the semifinals. We have Jurassic Park versus Point Break. And it's been our Cinderella story, the tournament, Point Break.
It has.
But it can't beat Jurassic Park. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Just Jurassic Park is the better movie. They're both really good, but I'm definitely going with Jurassic Park.
Mm-hmm. I think you're right. The Cinderella story coming to an end. I think they're both great movies. I wouldn't be, if I had to pick between the two what to watch, it would be really a real competition, a real internal struggle. I just think for this particular bracket with these particular parameters, I just think Jurassic Park, takes it, it has just a bit of an edge and pulls it through.
Yeah.
Sajda, what do you think? You're suffering.
I'm so devastated. I just don't know what to do. Like, why can't they just be one movie?
They should do that for the next Jurassic Park. Well, they can't because Patrick Swayze's gone, but they do the Point Break Jurassic Park merger.
Keanu Goldblum, and they're like with dinosaurs on the water. I don't know what the fuck I would do.
Surfing dinosaurs.
I would lose every ounce of like myself.
Yeah, I think that's gotta happen. All right. Well, so the next one is Back to the Future versus Star Wars. And I'm definitely going with Star Wars. I do actually probably think that Back to the Future is the better made film, as far as pacing and characters and some of the other things. But I don't know. I just gonna go with Star Wars. It's more maybe more nostalgic for me, and it's so fun to watch for the crowd. And that's part of the summer movie experience. And it's got such a great villain. Biff Tannen's a great villain too, but gotta go with Star Wars. I just do.
Yeah. I think you know where we're leaning.
Yeah.
Not having Back to the Future, one of us, the other one being kind of a little fuzzy on my memories of it. So yeah, definitely Star Wars.
All right, this is the final then. We have Jurassic Park versus Star Wars.
I have to say a good final. Very appropriate. I think we've done a great job. And I'm ready to hear final arguments.
So Jurassic Park has such a good combination of everything you could want in a movie. It's funny, it's tense, it's scary, it's got great characters, it's thoughtful, it has something to say about life and God and be us pretending to be God, and so it has all of those deeper themes while still being a super entertaining blockbuster film. So Star Wars New Hope, of course, practically started blockbusters as we know it. Super entertaining characters, particularly Han Solo. So fun. The whole idea of the Jedi getting sort of established is really great. It has a super fun, satisfying conclusion. When they blow up the Death Star, you get to see the good guys beat the bad guys right away, which is super entertaining. And the special effects I still think are good. They hold up and they're really fun. And I gotta go with Jurassic Park. I just think it's I think it's a perfect blockbuster. Its flaws are so small, and it's so well done. And I do think that if I was saying, I think that Empire is the better made movie, that even though I think that New Hope is maybe a little more entertaining. But so I can't go, because Jurassic Park is both entertaining and super well made, whereas I think that New Hope, Empire is slightly better made, even though it's very entertaining. So just on the fact that there's a better Star Wars movie out there where there is not a better Jurassic Park movie, that's for sure. The sequels are far inferior. That alone, I think I got to give Jurassic Park the edge. It is the best Jurassic Park movie. Star Wars New Hope is not the best Star Wars movie.
Yeah, well, you kind of beat me to the punch there. That's exactly, I was going to apply the Pirates defense for Jurassic Park and say that Star Wars has generated this huge cultural, monolith that continues to this day, that has galvanized millions of people, that everybody is obsessed with this world that was created by George Lucas and by this movie. But at the same time, it has been able to recreate itself and present itself over and over again and win people over in a way that Jurassic Park feels like the one moment when it was perfect and it happened, and it has not been able to be recreated. And I think that speaks to its perfection as a summer movie. The fact that, every single sequel to Jurassic Park has been a dud. Whereas Star Wars, you have Empire, and even some of the other, there's people who will ride or die for like even the prequels,
Yeah.
Whereas I don't know if there's anyone out there, dying on the hill of Jurassic Park 3 or Fallen Kingdom or whatever,
Right. Yeah.
Maybe my friend Lou, actually, now that I think about it.
I was gonna say Lewis.
But he will also die for Star Wars. So I think this would be the matchup that kind of explodes his brain.
He wouldn't know what to do.
Yeah. But yeah, I think Jurassic Park is a perfectly deserving winner of this bracket, so I am going with it as well.
Yes.
What do
All
you think,
right.
Perfect
So
movie.
the summer movie that we've decided, and I think few would argue, best summer movie of all time is Jurassic Park. So I was very fortunate to get to see it at the drive-in a couple of weeks ago, but I definitely recommend watching it over the summer with your family. It's just such a great movie, and I love it so much. So there we go. We did it. It's very exciting. So why don't you guys share your social media and all that fun stuff?
Sure. You can find me on Twitter at Coco Hits New York. Also, you can find me on the Criterion Project, the podcast that I co-host with Rachel and comes out every other week, in which we talk about movies in the Criterion collection. Our last episode was on The Hidden Fortress. Some will argue the inspiration for Star Wars, that Star Wars is a remake, so appropriate for this summer conversation. And our next episode is, what is it, Rachel? Talk of the Town, a classic from the 30s.
Yeah.
So if you enjoy listening to me and Rachel talk together in this episode, go check out the Criterion Project.
Yeah. Please do. It's a lot of fun. We have it's not as if you're worried that Criterion will be stuffy. Not when we're doing it. We have a lot of fun. So
yeah, we bring it right down to the dumb level.
Yeah, that's right. Very good.
All right, Sajda, what about you?
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram at it's Sajda, ITSSAJDAA. And I also have a food Instagram that's called Food Porn Friday, but the O in porn is an X. So
okay.
Yeah,
very cool. I'll have all that in the description section. People make sure to follow you. And you can follow me at Rachel's Reviews, all of our social media, iTunes, YouTube, and on Rotten Tomatoes. So check that out. And let us know what you would pick for this bracket. I'll put a copy of it on Twitter. And if people want to you could do your own video and show us how you would break it down. Or just on Twitter or whatever, let us know. That would be a lot of fun. And we hear your fierce defenses of why Dark Knight should have won the entire tournament. We want to hear it. We want to hear it. So very good. Thanks so much. This was a lot of fun. And we will be back soon, hopefully, to get to talk about our favorite movies of 10 years ago. We've been working on that for a while. And we'll have that sometime in the next little bit. But anyway, let us know your thoughts and we will talk to you all later. Bye everyone.
Bye Rachel. This was so much fun.